Hi friends, it's Deanna Willison with Our Blooming Catholic Life, and I'm coming to you today with a very Franciscan problem, the Tau. Now, the Tau here is the last letter of the Hebrew alphabet, and it was selected by St. Francis to start using after, is it the Fourth Lateran Council, had adopted it as its symbol, and it just became so symbolic as being the last, the least of these, that St. Francis fell in love with it, and in fact started, signing his letters and all with it instead of writing, St. Francis. So this became the habit of the secular Franciscans. You can actually see it's kind of in the form of even a friar wearing his habit. You add little hands over here, little feet at the bottom, and a little head. You can see it's also the shape of a friar. So it's a very Franciscan symbol. This is in fact the habit that the Secular Franciscan Order wears right now. And it's often made of olive wood. It can be from the Holy Land, but there are other options. You can buy them mainly at Franciscan shops. I know at Friar Shop, and I think it's friarshop.org, but I'll have to look that up, or friarshop.com. You can get handmade ones as well by one of our local spouses of a secular Franciscan. But what to do? You can see, you get presented this when you become a candidate. They will give you one. Yay! But why they sell them in shops is oftentimes you are going to need to replace something. Now, the funny thing about the Tau is you're going to wear it around your neck, right? Well, what happens then? This is the perfect thing, and being wood in this particular shape, babies are going to chew on it, puppies go after it, kitty cats like to bat on it, and you won't think of this when you first get it, but it very easily slips into places and then turns a little bit and won't come out. I cannot tell you how many times I've gotten stuck inside my washing machine. It slips inside that little ring in the middle, that little fabric softener dispenser or whatever. I don't use it, but this slips in easily at a kind of an angle, and when I try and lift my head out, I'm stuck like this. I get stuck in my rabbit pens all the time, all kinds of things, because it goes in easy and then it gets caught right here. As well, just this little hook, just the wear and tear of it sliding on here, your cord is going to break at some point. Now, if you work in a job that it is going to get stuck a lot, or you have issues with that, you have a delicate neck for whatever reason, you can go to a craft store. I don't have any right here. I couldn't find it. They make magnetic clasps for jewelry, so you can fix that on your end, so it will be a quick break end. So you can have a magnetic one. They make ones that tear easy, and so that if ever it gets caught, it's going to break apart and you're not going to be trapped. I wear it pretty long around my neck, but whenever I need to replace it, you can see this is actually, I've just done it. I haven't put the knots on yet, which is why it's so exceptionally long right now. I haven't done the knots. I was waiting to do that after I made this video with you. So we're going to notice a couple things. It comes usually with one little eye hook in the top. I have added a special kind of jump ring. There's normally a ring after that. If there's not, this might make your life easier. So if you just have that ring in the top, you may want to consider adding a jump ring. We're going to talk about that in a second. I have added a 4-way metal to mine. It's normally behind my towel, but not always. But I do love that it does say that I am a Catholic. If I'm injured in any way, please call a priest, as well as it's a way to wear my miraculous medal. Sometimes I will outright wear a miraculous medal hanging on my towel. Okay, so jump rings. Most jump rings, and they come in a variety of colors, materials, and sizes, so you can get them that these are gold or whatever you need. It's just a little ring, and how you open and close it to get things on, you see where it meets here, and you're gonna, see, and I can't do it. You're just gonna push the two ends apart. You can see there's a little slanted line there, and you're gonna push them apart. And then when you have the thing in, you push them back together. And normally you may use a little pair of pliers to do this. Number one, this is not, these also come like in a braided rope or fancier, but it's the same way of closing. You push the ends apart this way, and then you put them back together this way, and you may crimp the end a little bit. I have found that in my sleep, I tend to break these. I can pull them open. They're a little bit not as sturdy, and you're going to need pliers to use them. So if you don't want a whole jewelry making kit, you downsized or whatever, like a good Franciscan, you don't want them, you may want to go with a split ring. And the split ring, you can see, is like two on top of each other. It's very much like on your keychain. See, I don't really know if I can get it so that you can see it here. It's more like on your keychain. Now it does have a heftier look on it, which goes nice if you're wearing this kind of towel. If you're wearing a fancy golden jewelry towel, you may not need this, but I'm out there in the garden and stuff all the time. I need this. So it's called a split ring. You buy them in packs, so you're probably only going to need one pack for the rest of your life. Again, they come in different sizes. And it literally goes on like a key ring. If you can't quite get it, get a small, a teenage friend to help you out with it, or somebody with good eyes, because you're just going to split it open, right, a little bit, slip that end on, run it through till it's all through, and then and it gives you a little bit more movement here, which is going to help you get out of tight predicaments as well. Those are the reasons I prefer the jump rings. So number one, they're easier on and off. And two, they give you a little bit more flexibility so you're not getting stuck somewhere. Is it as dainty and pretty? No, whatever. That's not a concern for me. Next, you can see I have hemp rope, and I got it just at, honestly think this was just at like Walmart, but you can see it's kind of thin to start with, almost like our crochet thread here, right? And I don't want it that thin because it's going to be too easily broken. So we've got a variety of things that we can do here. So I grabbed this yarn to help show you. I grabbed 3 different colors so you can see what I'm going to do. Ladies, if you've ever had long hair or a little girl, you know how to do this, guys. If you're a dad or a favorite uncle, you may know how to braid as well. And you may be like, why do I need to braid? It's a silly thing for someone to learn. But as well as for your towel cord, this is great if you ever want to make cordage outside. That may not be some people's goal, but you can make rope out of vines or even grasses. And this is just a great way to make it stronger if you don't have a great source to start with. Now I'm looking for some place to tie this. I think I decided on, well, I'm just going to lay it on the table. Normally I would tie this end to something, a table leg, a lamp. I'm going to tie this end to something. I'm going to cut this off later so it's not going to matter. So I'm going to take my rightmost strand and put it in the middle. Then I take the strand on the left and I put that in the middle. I'm just going to keep repeating this. Strand on the right goes to the middle. Strand on the left goes to the middle. Strand on the right goes to the middle. You can see it's already starting to braid from the left and the middle. Now the thing is, you're going to have to go all the way down to your end so that they aren't twisted the whole way down, or you're just going to end up with a knot, which is one of the reasons it's nice to have it tied off, is you can just run your fingers quickly through it, see, like that, and open it up. It's a little bit harder when you're holding it as well. So that's it, friends. Right to the middle, left to the middle, clear it, right to the middle. That's an easy way to do it. Left to the middle, clear it, and that way you'll keep straight. That's not bad, right? When you start out, this may be looser and you may not like it. That's why I'm saying practice on something chunkier. If you practice with 3 colors, it's going to make it easier because you can see if you've made any mistakes. And start on thicker yarn. We tell that even to all new crocheters and knitters, starting on a chunkier yarn. And this is a time when you want your commercially made yarn, when you're learning to do something. Your fancy art yarn is harder to see what you're doing. So please don't go grab something fancy because it looks beautiful. Practice with some cheapo mass marketed yarn and then work your way up to something nice and fluffy if you want to. And you could totally crochet your own cord or knit it. Knitting a cord, ooh, I didn't get stuff out for that. I can show you that as well. See how long this is. And so I would just keep doing that. Now at the end, I'm going to have to do something else. So I'll show you that in a minute. That's your basic cord. You would just do it at the end, make a knot at the end to hold that in. And all I do for that normally is your regular knot, right? I just loop it around my finger. Take this one under, through, again, wrap it around my finger, cross over, up and through, and I'm gonna just pull that. That's my end knot normally. Okay, what if you've picked something thinner, like maybe you can only have cotton or silk against your skin, but it only comes in this really thin little thread, or you really like hemp, but again, it's very loosely spun and you don't want it to come undone. You can do what's called Navajo Plying. And this one doesn't look so hot yet. I'm practicing it. So Navajo Plying is not going to require any tools at all. What you're going to do is start with your basic slip knot. Ooh, so I'm going to have to start over again. You know what? Ooh, let's just go over here and get one of our yarns that we had earlier. Have you ever done a slip knot, friends? Probably have. You end up with a loop, right? And you take that guy from on top and you're bringing him around back, and now you have a pretzel. And once you have your pretzel, you're going for this guy and pulling him up. And now you have a slip knot. You can make it smaller or bigger as you need, or you can pop it right out. Again, I'm going to do that just another time. You can always look up how to do this. It's called a slip knot. And this is how you're going to start, and you're going to pull up that loop. Now here's the thing, Navajo chain plying is you want to leave that loop a little big because you're going to stick 2 fingers through it. You're going to grab this yarn. Now you're not going to grab your tail. Woo! Don't grab the tail. That's not going to get you anywhere. You're going to run out of yarn pretty quick. You're just going to pull up a loop, and you can leave that loop however long you want it. You just want to try and be consistent. So I'm going to pull up another loop. And then I ran out of yarn because I didn't get enough of that simple yarn. Let me grab something longer here for you. I was going to show you, friends, on the hemp, and then I realized that's a little hard to see, so we're going to go ahead and try it. Again, we're going to make our slip knot. So we're going to do it with our mass market yarn. I just got done telling you how great that is to practice with. Yeah, use it to practice with. So again, you're going to need to make that as big as you need to get your fingers through this. If you can trick a small child into watching this video, you're going to get a really nice tight one if they're dexterous at all. Stick your fingers back in. You're pulling up a loop. Get it where you like it. And again, some people, it may be a little bit softer if you make longer loops. So do what you like, but you know, it's going to be more to work with. And this is still a slip knot that we're making kind of, so we can pull it down. Don't pull it the whole way through because it's going to boop, and you'll lose your stitch entirely. And you're just going to pull that through. Now, is there another way to do this? Yes. If you know how to crochet, you can do this in a simpler way. It's going to be the exact same thing. So what you're doing here, friends, is again, a friend of making cordage or rope. You are turning something that is 1 string into 3. Look, so if you were already a crocheter, look, I did go in the direction of my tail. I was not lying. You will run out of yarn if you go with your tail. Okay, so now we're going towards the working yarn, it's called. And we're just looping over, pulling up. Loop it over, and you can buy for these, friends, at your local yarn shop, and somebody will probably even help you there. If you go in with your towel and look sad, you can probably pick out a yarn or cordage and somebody will help you. But otherwise, you can pick these up at your mass market stores as well. Again, your mass market store, nobody's going to help you. They will help you with this if you go in your local yarn store. Okay, and that's it. I'm going to go ahead and do a longer section of this so I can set you up for the next part. Okay, friends, here I am at the end. Pull my hook out. I have no more yarn left, right? And I need to end this. I'm going to yarn over and pull the whole thing through and then just tighten it. And look, I have a knot. Whoa! Amazing. You can play that back if you want. And you can see I have made a 1 strand into 3. The next part is the trickiest part because of the kind of knot we use. Let's see if there's enough here. I tend to wrap it around my finger 3 times, and then this end has to go into the beginning without messing up any of the loops. So you kind of want to keep it in order. You see, I've got it loosely on my finger now, and actually this crochet hook here may help me. Let's see if I can. I've never used a crochet hook for this before, but I've never tried it with fluffy yarn either. And you're going to want to try and keep them in order. Yeah, this is something we're going to have to practice. I've never tried it on fluffy yarn. I will be legit with you. I do it with mason line. Mason line is a great way to practice. It is one of the things you can use. Actually, you can use mason line, which you buy at your hardware store. You can make it to use it to make the all twine knotted rosaries. So this is better to practice on because it is really slippery. And again, they do make a little tool to help you with this. I'm going to do my 3 around. If you're making an all twine knotted rosary, the 3 knot is the Hail Mary knot. You do 5 for an Our Father. So again, I'm just pulling this up. And it should make a knot if I pull these nice. Should have had a knot in the beginning. This is only going to look like a 2 knot when I'm done because I didn't have one in the beginning. Okay, I didn't have extra cordage, so that just looks like a 2 knot. I normally space them a finger, this last segment of my finger apart when I'm doing an all twine knotted rosary. Oops. See, it's okay. It's mason line. Don't get frustrated. We only have to put 3 of these on our cord. We can do it, friends. So I slip it off, holding them together. You can see how they're still together. And I have to take this under and through. This is kind of harder to do on camera than it is in real life because I'm looking through the camera, not looking at what I'm doing. So that's entertaining. See, I'm keeping my 3 together. You do get a little bit more used to the feel of it. This can also be called a barrel knot, I believe. Sometimes you see it's not working, but look, it feels like it's working. And you just want to pull it just as tight as you need to. We did one, friends. So that is your basic barrel knot. 3, and remember, we just need 3 of them. If it's not perfect, it's okay, friends. Again, you may be able to talk someone into helping you with this. Especially, you could go to your rosary guild. Find out if there's someone who makes all twine knotted rosaries, and they could probably help you out with this step if you're really stuck. In fact, they might be willing to help you with the entire cord that you need. There you go. So now I have 2. I would just need 3. I have this little mutant guy on the end that I'm probably going to take out. Now, if you're doing something with this twine, how do you finish it at the end? I'll be fair here. Can you see this yet? Flame. You honestly use, I can't even get it now. Do I have it locked? You would use a little flame, and that's going to melt your ends together so they don't come untwisted. That's the only way I know of to get those at the end. So you do have to be super careful with that. You could just hold it in a candle for a second, especially if you made your knot at the end. You can just hold 2 of these together, and you just want a little bit because it does make it hard, so you don't want that against your skin. You just want a little bit to mesh those together. Okay. Did I cover everything? There was one more thing, and I just do mine very simply at the end. I'm going to do my barrel knots. Oh, right, knit it. How to knit it. Give me just one second. Friends, so I have gone and grabbed my mass market yarn and some knitting needles. Now, I grabbed a chunky size. These are 11s just to show you what I'm doing. These are circulars. It's just what I grabbed. You can have your grandma's old straights. Honestly, you can do this with chopsticks, with pencils. The smaller, the finer you get, the finer, the smaller the cord you're going to end up with. That's the difference there. So if you don't mind it being chunky or just a practice, go ahead and just use what you have. Again, we're doing our pretzel knot. This time I'm going to pull it up with my knitting needle, and I just need to put 4 stitches on my hook. Again, friends, forgive me, I'm doing this by looking through the camera. So in and under, and I put it on. Same thing as last time, make sure you're using this and not this tiny little tail. You want your working yarn. The difference really between using crochet and knit to do this is that knitting takes up less yarn. Crochet generally takes less time. So all I'm going to do is knit these 4 stitches now. Again, this is not a knitting tutorial. I do think I have how to knit in some of my other videos. So I'm going to do it slowly. You can watch these in slow-mo. Did you know you can do that on YouTube? You can watch videos in slow-mo. So when I get to the end, I'm going to turn it around. And now I'm going to, nope, that's wrong. I'm going to slide it to the other end. Maybe you do have to do this on a circular. You could do this with double points as well. Okay, because I can't go into the same stitch I just made. That's how I knew I had to flip it. So back over here, you can see it's going to run the whole way across that back. And I'm going to do these 4 stitches again. It's usually 4. I guess you could do a different number. I don't know. I'm not an expert in that. So remember, I'm going to have to flip it again because I want that yarn to go. Oh, that's not going to make it go the whole way across the back. Should have practiced that. Also, I'm running out of yarn. So this, right, slip it over to the other guy. Now yep, it's going to go across the back. I'm good. See, I make my mistakes so you don't have to. This is going to look, ladies, if you've ever done finger weaving as a kid, this is going to look a lot like that finger weaving kid. Ooh, or those little spool, the wooden spool. This is going to look a lot like that if you've got a little wooden spool. Again, you could get one of those little wooden spool kits. They take you 5 seconds to learn how to use. That is a great idea for this. I'd never thought of that. So it kind of looks thick and chunky when you start, but look, you're going to pull on it and it's going to get thinner as you go. And it's going to form a beautiful, strong cord. So if you want something really strong, again, you're probably going to want to do it something thinner, but start out using your mass market thread. This is a great use for these cotton threads that you can get at the store. You can get them all natural, unbleached, whatever you need that goes with your skin and fits your vocation well. So the last thing I'm going to say is when I'm choosing, I normally do a braid, but probably for any of these techniques, because I'm making a thicker cordage from a thin rope, what I do start with is I measure out how long I want this to be, the cord. So I start at the back of my neck, I hold the yarn, and I kind of loop it back around to the back of my neck again. And I see how long is that piece. Now I'm going to take that one strand and I'm going to do 1.5 times it. So I'm going to have that length plus half. And then I'm going to cut 2 more strips that same size. So I want, if I'm braiding it, I want 3 strands that are 1.5 times each, more than I need to go around my neck. And then I braid it, and I'm going to have, that's why this one's a little bit still long. I can cut off any extra when I'm done. That's the genius of it. If you're using an expensive thread, like if for some reason you're using silk, that's going to be a consideration. But for most of us, it's not. And this knot's easy to untie. So I could sit with this for a while, make sure this cordage wasn't too rough on my neck before I invested the time in making the knots. So you're going to need to consider that. You're going to want to make a much longer cord than you need to start with. And it's okay because you can cut off any extra. I think that's about it. If you have any more questions about repairing your towel, just a quick thought then, this is generally olive wood. If you have one made of olive wood, you can use olive oil to, quote, polish it or to restore the finish if it's been in some harsh conditions. If you have other woods, you're going to need to look on, how to care for that particular wood, or there might be some directions when you bought your towel. But if you have any other questions or suggestions for repairing a towel, please put them in the comments below. May God bless you, friends, as you live out your Franciscan vocation in the Secular Franciscan Order. God bless. Bye.